host, Adela Jakoto. Today we'll be talking about the Christian and abortion. Here to help me are my friends,
Enfi, Dumase,
Okisa,
Bunta.
Now we all know that abortion, though it's very silent, it's very much around us and it's happening all around, especially for the teen. But before we get into our discussion, what is abortion?
Abortion is the deliberate termination of a human pregnancy.
And Effie?
It's the killing of a baby.
Okay. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says, the termination of a pregnancy after, accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of the embryo or fetus. And then from the Adventist Review, this is what they had to say about abortion. Prenatal human life is a magnificent gift of God. God's ideal for human beings affirms the sanctity of human life in God's image and requires respect for prenatal life. However, decisions about life must be made in the context of a fallen world. Abortion is never an action of little moral consequence, thus prenatal life must not be thoughtlessly destroyed. Abortion should be performed only for the most serious reasons. So basically what this is saying is abortion should not be done anyhow. And this is sort of the situation that we have in Malawi, that people just abort because they accidentally got pregnant and they just want to get rid of the baby. But according to this, and I believe that it's in line with what the Bible teaches as well, that, the human life is very sanctified by God, and he values it. And also in the Bible it talks about, it doesn't exactly pinpoint things about abortion. It doesn't really say do not abort and that sort of thing, but it does talk about the value of human life. In Genesis 1:27, right at the beginning, it talks about how we're all created in the image of God. In Psalm 139 verse 13 to 14, it talks about us being fearfully and wonderfully made. And in Jeremiah 1, verse 5, it also talks about how God has knit us together in our mother's wombs and how he knows us even before we were born. And so that just, there's so many other verses that talk about, the value of human life and what, how God feels about it. So we can talk about that. Now, what is Malawi's take on abortion?
As far as I know, it's just recently been done that abortion is actually allowed at any age, whatever.
Yeah, they have legalized it. And here are just some statistics. As of 2015, about 30% of women under 24 were aborting, which is quite a large percentage if you think about it, considering the population of Malawi, and also knowing that there are more women in Malawi than men. That is quite a large number. Would you say that abortion is a sort of murder?
yes.
Because
It's a life, yeah? The fact that it took so long to legalize, meaning it was wrong, or people did see it as wrong, and for some reason the perception has changed. Yeah.
And like the Adventist Review said, that we are looking at abortion in terms of a fallen world. So things, our countries are starting to legalize, things like abortion. And we must remember that this is a fallen world, but we are still Christians in this fallen world. And right at the beginning of this series, we talked about us being a light to the world. So we're going to be looking at whether it's right for the Christian to abort. Now, I know that most of the time when we talk about abortion, we're talking about people who accidentally got pregnant. But is it right for those who maybe were raped to abort?
Like you said at the beginning in the dictionary, it does say that medically, if you have something wrong, you should, or like it would be possible to abort. And I feel like rape victims should have a choice whether they want to or not. And usually rape victims of all phases of life, they can either afford having a baby or they can't. So if you know that you're not ready, especially like teenagers who have been raped, obviously want to continue school and whatnot. So I feel like that should only be like a case where you can like abort, only extreme cases. But if you accidentally got pregnant, I mean, like you knew when you were in the act that this would lead to a baby, but because of your ignorance, you chose not to, be careful. So I feel like that should only be the case in aborting.
I feel rape victims, it doesn't. It reaches a certain point whereby you knew that you were raped. The next day, you could have gone to get a contraceptive, an emergency contraceptive pill, to prevent the fertilization of the egg leading towards you being pregnant.
But like rape is like traumatic. You can't like just get up the next day and
That's where you have to be strong enough and ask yourself, is it worth killing someone, or me choosing whether I should sit and feel sorry for myself?
Well, we can't say you have to be strong enough because you haven't been raped, so you don't know what goes on with you. But fine, I get contraceptives, maybe someone could go get it for you, but to say, oh, you have to be strong because you don't know the trauma that occurs after you get raped. You know?
People do get traumatized, but they have to stand out.
Have you seen like the case of like Bill Cosby and everyone? Like for the case of rape in like law, you can what do you call this? You can say that you've been raped even 50 years later because you were so traumatized. You can't just say it. So it's not easy as with like you can just get a contraceptive. I don't think it's that easy.
And if you look like you have a lot to say.
I just feel like often when people talk about abortion, they narrow it down to two things. They narrow it down to, oh, it was an accident, or it was rape. Not, what we should remember is we shouldn't minimize the trauma of being raped, of somebody taking over your body without permission. So if I 100% understand what Dumase is saying. If you have been placed out of your body, you will not be able to reconnect, if that makes sense. And I do understand from if I was to put myself of a rape victim, if I was to put myself in their shoes, I would have to consider I'm pregnant for a man who took my body without permission. I have to start caring and nurturing for something I didn't want. You have to, it's like a double whammy of traumatic experiences. So it's very naive of us and judgmental, and as Christians, we shouldn't always look to be like, yo, she had a baby. Do you get what I mean? She could have, their means or whatnot. Oh, yo, she aborted. I'm in on that. Caesar board. Do you get what I mean? You don't understand the predicament. You don't understand what's going through that person. Personally, I feel if you are saying, it's me, I'm going to tanner with Jesus when he says, yo, you aborted in 2017, and how you can answer and say, I wasn't feeling myself. First things first, look after yourself. Does that make sense? Because if you cannot look after yourself, you cannot look after somebody else. I'm not giving the go-ahead on abortion because personally I'm rather neutral. I don't have a yes or no, if that makes sense, because I'm not one to judge. If you willingly did the act, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to abort. You have to face the consequences of what you did. If it was by force, I don't want to put a yes or no answer because it's not my trauma to judge.
All right. And what would you advise the man behind in, like, assuming that it was an accident? What would you say to the man behind?
Okay. So we have instances where teens our age, Wakisa could have a kid right now. Just give an example. Not that you have a kid. Wakisa could have a kid right now, and he claims to be financially unstable. He doesn't have a house. He's depending on his parents. Why were you seeking for something that is so adult-like? They only say it should be done in marriage, because in marriage you have reached the stage of maturity where you can choose whether you want to have a baby within the 3 years or immediately. But you're depending on your parents. You haven't finished school. Why are you engaging in such risky acts if you won't be able to? Do you get what I mean? And there's a verse in Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 20, that talks about the wicked woman and how she engages in sexual acts and she doesn't care. And then if you go into Proverbs 31, there's, I think it's the virtuous woman, isn't it? And how she's talking about, she says verse 2, she says, what my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the sons of my vows. I don't know. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways unto the which destroys kings. I don't know if that verse is going to help people, but it helps me.
Okay.
And for me, learning at an Adventist school, what was really interesting was the fact that Helderberg, around the clinics and hospitals around, Helderberg has the highest abortion rates, which is really ridiculous. Being an Adventist school, you'd be expected to, not even 0%. But what was interesting was the fact that we don't really talk about it in our homes. And if we talk about it more, children are more aware of what is going around. And one of my friend's mom was talking to him and told him that, son, my sex is good. It feels good. Like, she went all in and out. But she went and said that, but it's only to be enjoyed when you're married. And the way we're waiting to go to heaven, it should be also waited like that. So we should also be faithful and just chilled. Just calm down.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. We'll be right back after this song sung by Malaika entitled Even When It Hurts.
Take this fainted heart, take these tainted hands, wash me in your love, come like grace again. Even when my strength is lost, I'll praise you. Even when I have no song, I'll praise you. Even when it's hard to find the words louder than I'll sing your praise. I will only sing your praise. Take this mountain weight, take these ocean tears, hold me through the drought, come like hope again. Even when my strength is lost, I'll praise you. Even when it hurts like hell, I'll praise you. Even when it's hard to find the words louder than I'll sing your praise. Ooh, I will only sing your praise. 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 And my heart burns only for you. your praise. Ooh, I will only sing your praise. Even when the morning comes, I'll praise you. Even when my song is sung, I'll praise you. Even when my time on earth is done, louder than I'll sing your praise. I will only sing your praise.
Thank you, Malaika, for that beautiful item of music. Now, what would we advise to the one who has aborted before, or the one who may be in the situation where they're considering?
Well, girl. Yeah. I'm laughing because, first of all, the way she said it, like, you don't have both of you don't have a house, you're living with your parents, you're dependents. And the fact that you even had to have such a dodgy setting for you to be in this act, is like the way it started is the way it's going to finish. It's going to be dodgy as well. No, don't do it. People should see.
Face the consequences of your actions, basically. Because you knew what you were doing.
You
unless it was an accident. But I mean, if you knew what you were doing, then go ahead and face the consequences. Because, I mean, come on, you can't say, oh, it was an accident, it just happened. Like, no, you knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. So, but like, what if like your parents want you to abort and like you don't want to?
I just want to give a piece of advice about, not the parent, about the person who has aborted. What I would like to say to you is, I know this might sound harsh, but shaoliago, if you know what that means. So it doesn't make sense to me for you to be crying 10 years later when you can't have a kid because you aborted another. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. God has a way of letting you deal with your consequences. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And a person for me to say, no, God hates me. No, you just didn't listen. You ate. My mom likes to say, God has given you your benefits, but you've eaten them before your time. Yeah. So don't complain when you can't have children, or it's not, nobody gave you, who forced you to open your legs? Mm-hmm. Nobody.
Yeah. And you said before that most of the time we focus on rape and also just it being an accident, but we often forget the trauma behind it. And whether it was an accident or willingly, I think we can all say, I think the bottom line is, abortion is, it harms your body, and it can also just create many more complications and even more trauma after that. So what would you advise the parent, for a teen who, whether they did it whether it was an accident or whether they did it willingly, what would you say to the parent who may have a teen child in this situation?
Well, accept it. I mean, it has happened. I guess, yeah, fine. You make them pay, maybe, I don't know, talk to them, I don't know, but you can't tell them, go and abort, because that is wrong. Mm-hmm. Because obviously, according to Christian virtues, it is wrong. Mm-hmm. So I guess accept it, take it as it goes.
Yeah. And would you guys advise adoption, putting the baby up for adoption, just giving birth to the baby and then giving it up for adoption?
I feel like that would be the better option, especially if you know that you can't afford taking care of the baby. That is a way better option to put it up for adoption.
Yeah. And Effie, you look... No? Are you okay? Okay. Let's hear what our pastor has to say about the Christian and abortion.
The question of abortion has raised a lot of debate and very high emotions whenever it is brought up. Sometimes we discuss them in our churches, in our schools, in our communities. But when you're looking at issue of abortion, it's actually something that has been a part of our society from way back when. Before modern times and the modern medicine, women would actually, when they had unwanted pregnancies, they would take certain, drink certain things just to have a self-induced abortion. But why is it that many people abort? Sometimes, they're scared of what society will say because the pregnancy has come outside of marriage, and you're going to be kicked out of school. Your family will not accept you. The church is going to label you in whatever way they will label you. But we need to understand that there's a life that is in you, that is growing, and you're about to kill an innocent life. Look, you've made a mistake, fair and fine. God is able to forgive that mistake. That doesn't mean you need to now go and kill an innocent life. I think what we need to understand is that that child has potential. What is growing inside you has the potential to become something great, somebody great, to become a name in society, somebody that people are going to respect. It's not always going to be easy, but you need to toughen it up. You need to be able to move forward. The Bible in the book of Psalms 139, verse 13 up to 16, this is what it says. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. So this shows that God has a plan for his people from the very beginning, from the time you're in your mother's womb. God already knows you by name. He has a plan for your life. Why kill an innocent child? There are times where you might, because of a threat to life, the mother's life and this and that, we may look at certain issues and say there's a reason for it. But in all honesty, do whatever you can to preserve that life, because God has a plan for that child. If you want to avoid abortion as a young person, don't get into any sexual activity while you are outside of marriage. Do it at the right time, in the right place. May God help us to raise these unborn children, to allow them to grow to be that which he wants them to be. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us this week. Join us again next week right here on Hope Channel Malawi with your program Energ-Aid. I am your host, Adela Jogoto. Remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.